What the f?
What's going on, guys? The new shop slash dealership space. So I put a post, I can't take myself seriously with this in my hand. I put a post on the community tab on my YouTube page and just kind of briefly touching on what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna explain more in this video. So to make a long story short, I used to have a dealership space. I had a partnership when I Every time I start a video, there's always some BS, so we're just gonna roll with it. I used to have a partnership with a guy, and for a few years, we had a dealership space where I would sell cars, he serviced and restored cars. It was a great partnership. It was very beneficial for both of us because I had low overhead. We had the dealer license. Long story short, when he opened the business, there was a dealer license associated with the property. He wasn't using it, had no interest in using it. I met him at a car show, said, hey, let's do this. So for a good amount of years, I sold cars out of there. That was my license. And fortunately, when I moved up to New Hampshire for my little, my big bright idea I had to leave Florida, go up there, and quickly realized I didn't like that. Came back in less than a year, but we kind of had a falling out because of that. So I don't have that partnership anymore, which is unfortunate because it was a wonderful, wonderful situation. Again, had my dealer license, but very low overhead. And we had a great partnership. We get the car serviced right in the same facility I was selling them out of. Before that, I had another location, a little worse part of town, but you got to start somewhere. So I've been a licensed dealer for many years, licensed used car dealer. And now that I'm back in town, don't have any partnership going on, so I needed to find a space to start over, and that's this space. So when I first put the picture up, everybody thought I had leased the space for car storage, but you guys know how big my collection is. There's just no way I could fit. I've got, what, maybe a tenth of the collection in here? This will be the showroom space. Right now I'm storing some of my cars in here because very nice shot on the ladder, huh? That's a good idea. I wouldn't have thought of that. But right now I'm storing some of my cars in here just because the business isn't open yet, obviously. But one of the requirements that my city requires, and I think most cities and most states, to have a used car dealership is you have to have some office space. Now in Florida, at least in my city, the minimum office size is 100 square feet. So obviously when I leased this space, there was no office, so I'm building the office right now, in the process of building it. You can see I got the framing in, and my best friend's an electrician, so he's doing the electrical. We should have this done tomorrow, believe it or not. It may not look like it, but I'm gonna finish the electrical tomorrow morning. And sheetrock, doing a nice plywood ceiling, obviously sheetrock, but the plywood on the top, so I can put some storage stuff up there, do some recessed lighting, stuff like that. It's gonna be a nice space. So this is part of my requirement for getting relicensed. I have to have a 100 square foot office minimum, which will be here. This is where all the boring stuff happens, the paperwork and stuff like that. A lot of paperwork. I think a lot of people don't understand when you're a used car dealer, at least in this state. Even if you're buying a $500 Chevy Malibu, there's like 14 pieces of paper the buyer has to sign. You get all these different disclosures and warnings, and it can be a bit frustrating, especially for the customer, because the customer, this is where the Craigslist car flippers get ahead of us licensed dealers, because it's a quick transaction. They hand over a junk title and they're done. We have to do everything by the books. Obviously, we get audited. We have records we have to keep. We have to collect sales tax on behalf of the state. I get customers that come in and say, oh, can you put $1 in the bill of sale, or can you put $100? I can't do that because obviously things aren't going to line up in my books and I'm going to get in trouble. So when I sell a car for $1,000, I have to collect sales tax on that for the state. And but there's also benefits, besides all that nasty, boring stuff I just talked about that people don't like about us car dealers or being a car dealer as opposed to doing it rogue, the benefits of being a licensed dealer, the dealer plates, being able to write temporary plates for my customers, obviously having access to all the auto auctions. You have to pay for a lot of them, like Copart, IAA, but you have that access, which, you know, someone flipping cars from Craigslist doesn't have it, or they have to pay somebody to get in. So there's a lot of benefits to being a licensed dealer. I like to do things above board, do things legally. So that's how I do things. So you probably noticed lately on the channel, I haven't had much car buying content, only cars for me. It's because I've been waiting to get re-licensed. So anyway, let me give you a little tour. So again, that's the office space under construction, should be done tomorrow. Finally found a space that I was able to negotiate a good deal, and believe it or not, a good deal for this size space, 1,350 square feet. With my utilities and everything, I'm just under $2,000 a month. The rent's $1,700 a month. I've got water bill, utilities, other stuff. But it's gonna get higher once because I gotta put commercial insurance, you know, for both the business and for the space. The landlord requires that. So that's gonna get a little bit higher, a little over $2,000 a month. That's actually a good deal in my city. Again, you go out to rural Pennsylvania, you can probably get this space for $900 a month. I mean, look at the barn I have up in New Hampshire. It's about the same size as this. I pay $350 a month for that. So granted, it's not a commercial space, but that's the thing. That's what makes the space expensive. It's the commercial zoning that allows this type of activity. So you need two things, and this is what Florida requires to issue that license. Well, two of the things they require. It needs to be in an area that's zoned for this type of activity, which is auto sales / repair. And it needs to be also approved by the landlord. There's a complex right next door to this complex that the landlord doesn't want any automotive in there, even though the area is zoned by the county for that type of use. He doesn't want any of those kind of tenants. This complex is kicking out most of the automotive guys. They let me come in because I'm light repair and mainly sales. But they want all the auto body guys out of here because they make a mess and they're leaving all sorts of toxic crap everywhere. So it's tough to find that kind of space in my part of town. It's a nicer part of town. You go out to the real crap areas, there's an abundance of this kind of space, but I don't want to be doing business over there. I'm only 2 minutes from my house. I can walk here. I can probably see my house if I get up on top of the roof. So that's great, especially keeping some of my cars in here. I want to come grab the Elante after a long day. Boom, bang. You know what I mean? I'm 2 minutes away from the house. So I come back and forth all day long. So I pay a little premium for that, but for me, it's worth it. And again, I like to do business in a good area, and I live very centrally in the city, so it's better for my customers. It's better for me every day, and I'm going out to the auctions. Highway's right there. Boom. So that's the space, 1,350 square feet. Obviously, the office eats up 100 square feet of that. The way I built the office, I built it in a way that it would eat up the least amount of car space possible. So I made it come out this way as far as I could. And that way this didn't have to stick out as far into the car space. And I put the door here so that I can park a car if I wanted to right against this wall and still be able to get out. Because if I park a car here, this is very wide here. There's still plenty of room to open the door. So 1,250 square feet of storage minus the bathroom, which I wish wasn't so large. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna put a lift in here eventually. It's not a priority right now, but eventually I'll put in a lift. That's pretty much all there is to say about the space. So I will do an update video probably pretty soon, because again, this should be done tomorrow if all goes well, the office space. But expect to see me make videos of the continued process of getting relicensed as a used car dealer down here. Should be relicensed soon. It takes usually a month or two. They have to come out, they have to inspect the space and confirm with my landlord that he's gonna allow that. You gotta look at the lease. It says on the lease, used car dealership, so that'll be fine. They're gonna come out, check the space, and a few more little steps, and should be back in business, get my dealer plates reissued and everything like that. So I'm looking very forward to it. That will bring back the Copart content and all the things that I used to love to do. So I'm looking very forward to it. So just bear with me. I've been trying to make as much content as I can while waiting for this process to wrap up. that's that. I think that's pretty much all there was to say. What time is the video at?
10:20.
10 minutes. Wow, I kept that a lot shorter than I thought I would. I got some parts and things I'm storing here of mine. I think we can actually end it there. But first, I want to take you outside quickly. So this is the outside area. I get a good amount of reserve spots out here, including this space in front of my door. But this is obviously the access door. I got my Sierra over here, the AT&T Malibu, the one that I hung on to, still have it. Really don't need it, but I don't know, kind of a sentimental thing. I might let that one go. But every time I say that, I look at it, I don't want to. Especially after I dressed it up with the nice alloy wheels and stuff. I got my newest Escalade right there, and I've got the other Escalade right here, the one I picked up in July. So I got plenty of parking out here. Obviously, these spaces will be filled in, as well as a lot of the interior space with inventory. But again, until the license gets reapproved, I'm paying for the space. I may as well use it. So I've been kind of offloading some of the cars out of my house and putting them over here. And I was also able to get rid of, at least for now, the spots I used to rent in the city garage. The 6 spots I rented, put them in here for now, the cars. So that's gonna do it, guys. I will make an update video shortly showing the finished product with the office. So I guess that's it. Nothing more to say about it, I don't think. I might be forgetting a few things, but I will make an update video when the office is finished. And anything else I think is worth showing as I travel back down this road again to getting relicensed as a used car dealer, I will be sure to share with you. Otherwise, be patient as I get closer to bringing you good content again, Copart content, stuff like that. I'm looking very forward to it. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next one.